Friday morning. I thought I'd come out to the backyard here and record this. It's cold. It's cold out here. Freddie no likey. I don't like the cold, so I'm gonna put on a little jacket here. My little stay warm. Gotta stay warm. I mean, the things I do for you people. Suffer through the cold weather. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's nice. Oh gosh, very nice. Hey, we're gonna talk numerals through titles. I forget what we're doing. Numerals through. I said noodles. Noodles sounds better than numerals. Yeah, numerals through titles. That's what we're gonna talk about. So you should have your AP Stylebook numerals through titles document, and away we go. I'm going to talk about each of these items quickly. There's some examples for you to try to do to see if you can get this down, and then that'll be it. So if you'll get your AP Style Book, we're going to go to numerals, and there's a bunch of different things you got to concern yourself with when it comes to numerals. I'll say this: don't expect you to memorize any of these things. Just know that anytime you have to write a number, that means you need to check to see if you're writing it correctly. So under numerals, the first item is in general, and the directions in your style book say in general you're going to spell out 1 through 9. So anytime you use the numbers 1 through 9, you'll write the word 1, 2, 3, 4. But once you get to 10, 10 is that magic number for just general numbers. How many puppies you see, how many chairs are in the room. In general, 1 through 9 gets the word. And then starting at number 10, you get the Arabic numeral, which means you put the number 10. So they give you a couple examples. So take some time now on your document where you see the sentences. For instance, the first sentence is Ohio University recently suspended all of their 15 fraternities. That just happened, I think, yesterday. So look at the number 15 and decide, is that correct? Or if you need to change it, what do you need to change it to? Next sentence, I saw 2 deer in the backyard yesterday. And then the third sentence, my best golf round this summer was a 74. So look at those numbers, see if you need to make any changes. I also will tell you that I have other errors in these sentences other than the just numerals. I'm trying to recap the first 7 items that you had, things like courtesy titles and names. So when you go through this, see if you can find any other errors besides just the specific topic that we're going through now. So pause me, try to fix those sentences, and then come back. All right, so you went through those 3 sentences. If you scroll down on your page, you'll eventually get to answers and explanations, and you'll see there the Ohio University fix that you needed to make. Ohio University recently suspended all of its instead of their, because Ohio University is a collective noun. It's 15. 15 should be the number, the Arabic numeral, because it's more than 9. 10, remember, is that magic number. The easiest way to remember that is the bigger the number, the more painful it is to actually type out the words. You know, you wouldn't want to say, I saw 5,642 people at the game yesterday. Nobody wants to type that out in words. It's hard to read, it's hard to type. So it makes more sense. The bigger the number, the easier it is to type and read the Arabic form. Second sentence, 2 should be the word 2 instead of the number, because it's in that 1 through 9 category. And then the last sentence, 74, is definitely higher than 9, so you give it the number. So that's in general. Ages is next. They give you examples of a 6-year-old girl, an 8-year-old law, the 7-year-old house. It doesn't matter what age it is. If you notice that number is in between, those numbers are in between 1 through 9, so they don't reach the number 10. And yet for ages are different than numbers in general. You always use the Arabic numeral. So, hang on, it's cold. It's really cold. Hold on, I gotta bundle up here. This is terrible. Luckily, oh my goodness, I brought my scarf. I don't think it's mine actually, but it's mine now. Whoo, God, dang. It's awful out here. Okay. Whew. All right. So ages, and no matter what the number is, you're going to write the Arabic numeral for that. So go ahead and look at, oh wait, one more thing about ages, hyphens. If the age is an adjective, then you need to hyphenate it. So somebody might be 5 years old. So you would say the girl is 5 years old, no hyphens there. But the 5-year-old girl uh, at a party, then that's hyphenated because those are adjectives. So look through those sentences, pause me, and then when you finish them, come back. All right, you'll see the fixes if you scroll down to answers and explanations. There's a dog that's going crazy back there of what you need to do with the numbers. Again, if it's no matter what age it is, it gets the Arabic numeral. So 5, the word 5 turns to the Arabic numeral. Same thing with 21. And then the last sentence, did you catch the dangling modifier? Gosh, I hope you did. But if you didn't, look at that sentence, jumping for joy, his mother. Well, his mother isn't the one jumping for joy. It's the 16-year-old who just got his driver's license. So you need to make sure that after that comma, you have the person doing the action. So jumping for joy, the 16-year-old sophomore hugged his mother when he got his driver's license. And notice the hyphens, the adjective describing sophomore. It's a 3-word adjective. 16 and year and old are 3 words describing the noun, so they get hyphens. All right, we move to dates, years, and decades. That's the next topic. You'll see we've already gone through a lot of this, so this is just reiterating what you do when you have a day or a month or a date and how to fix things. But this also looks at apostrophes. You know, apostrophes supplant something. If I say it's cold, and it is cold, in fact, matter of fact, hang on a second, I gotta, oh, golly, dang, got a little blankie? Got a little blankie. Oh, much better. Okay. So if I say it's cold, that apostrophe has smited from apostrophe land above the I in is, and the I is sad and dead on the ground. It is cold. Well, the same thing happens with apostrophes when you use decades, for instance. So that second sentence, I know I sound old when I say I love 80s music the most. Something is missing, and it's the number 19. And so anytime you have anything missing, in that case, you would need to put the apostrophe there. So see if you can go through those 3 sentences and fix those, and then pause me and then come back. All right, we look at dates, years, and decades, and you see October needs to be abbreviated to OCT period. That TH, remember, we never do that, so that needs to go. And you have to have a comma after all full dates. So the comma goes after the 11. 80s, you'll see there's never an apostrophe between, when it's just plural. 80s is a decade, it's plural. So you get rid of the apostrophe after the 0, and you have to put an apostrophe before the 8, signifying 19 has been smited. Now the next one, my high school class of 89, you might think, well, there was nothing wrong with that. Oh, there was something wrong. And it's that apostrophe that's facing the wrong way, and I cannot abide by this. I refuse to see an apostrophe facing the wrong way. You've got to get it just like you would do for its, IT apostrophe S. You got to flip that baby around so it's facing the correct way. How do you do that? Well, if you just type an apostrophe once, it's going to face the wrong way. But if you type another one right next to it, that one will be facing the correct way, and then you just delete the first one. There you go. Simple. Okay, questions on dates, years, and decades, you let me know. We move on to dimensions to indicate depth, height, length, and width. You probably won't have this very much, so we'll go through these pretty quickly. If you look in your style book, it shows you, again, in this case, even though the numbers are fewer than 10, you're going to use the Arabic numeral instead of the spelling out the word. And notice, again, the adjective use where you use a hyphen if you are describing somebody with those dimensions. So you're going to see Arabic numerals pretty much for all of these, except there's maybe one exception. Well, there is one exception, a 2x4, but for the most part, Arabic numerals throughout. So go ahead, try to pause me and try to fix those 2 sentences. All right, pretty basic here. You have to change 5 feet 9 inches into Arabic numerals, and you have to spell out feet and inches. And then in the second sentence, the word 5 changes to the Arabic numeral. All right, back up we go to distances. Distances, are, again, Arabic numerals only. So you're starting to see some exceptions from those just in general rules about how to write numerals. So look at that sample sentence under distances on your AP Stylebook numerals through titles document. See if you can fix that. Okay, you probably hope paused me while you fixed it. If you scroll all the way down to answers and explanations, you will see the exact number of feet from the Delta Chi house to Mac and Joe's. I might have made a few trips from that location back in the day. All right, we go to millions, billions, and trillions. How do you write something when you are writing about figures, millions of dollars, billions of dollars? So if you look in your style book, it says millions, billions, trillions. These are all little subsections of numerals. There's also an actual section of millions, billions, trillions. So if you flip back to that, pause me if you need to, it gives a little longer explanation of how to write it when you're using these figures in journalism. So check that out. The big key is you need that dollar sign, and you don't write the word dollars after you already have the dollar sign, because that's what the dollar sign designates. So read through this, make sure you understand it, pause me, and see if you can fix these two sentences. Okay, if you scroll down to the answers, you'll notice that it's a pretty simple fix. You put the dollar sign in front of the figure, and you get rid of the word dollars. By the way, this is actually true. Miami does have $500 million sitting in its endowment fund that it could use. And by the way, it's it, not they. Miami, it is a collective noun that it could use to fund things, like help y'all out. And look at Harvard, $37 billion, money given to Harvard University that's just sitting there. Crazy. Okay, back up we go. After millions, billions, trillions, we go to monetary units. So now we have to go back to numerals in your style book. It's going to take me a minute. Here we go. We go to, where are we? Oh, monetary units. Yeah, this is just right under millions, billions, trillions. When to use that dollar sign again. This sentence, several sentences here have more than just the error with monetary units. So find the monetary unit, fix that, but also think back to the other topics, or look at the other topics that we've already covered, and see if you can fix all of those things. Pause me and then scroll down and check your answer. Bunch of errors here. You've got the courtesy title that needs to go. Saturday needs to be spelled out. $2 should be the dollar sign, and then the Arabic numeral 2. We have Aaron Metzger written twice, so we need to get rid of the first, or we need to get rid of Aaron on all successive references. Okay, we scroll back up. Now we move to school grades. This is a situation where we follow the rule of numbers in general, where you use figures for grades 10 and above, but you spell out 1st through 9th grades, and just like in some of the other examples for ages, and for dimensions, you need to use hyphens if it's an adjective describing something. So go ahead, pause me, and try to fix school grades. All right, if you scroll down, you look at school grades, you see that 6 should be spelled out as a word since it's below 10, but you have the fix there for 11th grade, and that is needs to be the Arabic numeral, and the TH actually has to be there. And notice there's a hyphen because it's an adjective describing somebody. It's actually a noun in this case, but it supplants the adjective. Okay, we go back up to times. Times. You'll use figures always, 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 except for noon and midnight. Why not noon and midnight? Well, because people get confused over PM and AM, which is which. So it's just simpler and easier to understand if you just use noon and midnight. So check out times, what they look like. Notice how you type AM, PM. And so go ahead and see if you can fix those sentences, and then head down, pause me, and then head down to the explanations. Oh, now it's breezy. Oh, it's terrible out here. What am I doing? Oh, suffering for you. All right, so clothesline project would be 10, the Arabic numeral, always Arabic numeral, and then lowercase a.m. The next sentence, 12 p.m. is noon, so we're going to use noon. Notice noon is lowercase, just like midnight would be. And then you have the number of minutes. That's kind of just a general thing, number of minutes. So because it's 10 or higher, you would use the Arabic numeral 80. Last one for numerals is at the start of a sentence. The basic rule is that's under the subcategory spell out there in numerals. You always, always, always have to spell out the number at the start of the sentence, no matter what the number is. So check out that sentence and see how you would pause me and see how you would fix that. All right, if you scroll down to the answers for this, you'll see that technically you would have to type out 10,250. Well, that's a pain. It looks bad. It's hard to read. So honestly, a better way is to get around it. Either find a way to start the sentence and then say the number, like you could say at the Miami University football game, comma 10,000. Then you can use the Arabic numeral, or you could start it the way I put it there in the as one possibility. Just over 10,000 people showed up, and that way you get to use the Arabic numeral. Oh, we're cruising right along. The next topic, now that we're finished with numerals, is off of. This is very simple. When you see off of, it's wrong. It's always, always, always wrong. This is called a double preposition. You cannot use a double preposition legally. You're not allowed to use a double preposition in when you write. So look through these two sentences. Notice that now there might be other errors in some of these sentences, remember. So look at this and see if you can fix these. Pause me and do it. All right, you're back. We look at off of, and you see a couple errors in that first sentence. You need to change the Arabic numeral 3 to the the Arabic numeral 3 to the word 3, since it's just a general number of home runs, and you got to get rid of the of in off of. By the way, that really did happen. I hit 3 home runs in one game, and I was on deck to bat for the 4th time, and I didn't get to bat because the batter before me made the final out of the game, or made an out, and then we won in the top of the 7th, I think it was. Yeah, that was the glory years of Fred Reeder baseball. Then the second one. This also applies to outside of, off of, outside of. Those are double prepositions, so get rid of the of. Next one is plurals. So let's see here. I'm going to go to plurals. Lots of rules for plurals. They're really kind of going through the basics here of when you change to s or es. Number one with plurals, for some reason people have a love affair with apostrophes. They add them. You'll see this on signs at people's houses. It'll say the Fergusons, and it'll be Ferguson apostrophe S. And oh my gosh, people, it's more than one Ferguson living in the house. There's no apostrophe there. Eradicate, delete. It's the Fergusons. It's Mr. and Mrs. and little Sally and little Billy and little dog Ferguson. It's a bunch of Fergusons. So no apostrophe, please, please. You probably have an embroidered pillow in your house that says the Smiths, and there's apostrophe S there. Find out who made that pillow and do something evil to that person. Not really. Just correct them. That's it. It'll make you feel better about yourself. So anyway, basic things about plurals. Most of you do okay with that. So the ones that I care about the most are words as words, which you don't use an apostrophe S when you are saying, when you're making a word plural. They give an example. His speech had too many ifs, ands, and buts. So see if you can fix that sentence. And then the next one is when it comes to figures, again, you're just adding an S. It's just plural. So the apostrophe doesn't need to be there. So try to fix those sentences. Scroll down, see how you did. Okay, pretty basic there. You have changed gotten rid of the apostrophe for likes, and you've gotten rid of the apostrophes for 1990s and 2000s. Piece of cake. The next one is state names. For state names, a lot of rules here. Basic rule you really just need to think about is when the states stand alone, you spell them out fully all the time. When you use states in text, With the city, then you need some punctuation. You need an apostrophe or apostrophe. You need a comma between city and state. And I think that's pretty basic. But you also always have to have a comma after the state. You also do abbreviate the state. Now, this is in my 2013 style book. A change was just made, I think, 2 years ago that says you now never abbreviate the state, even when you use it with the city. Well, that just is crazy. And I have yet to see any reputable news organization, New York Times, Washington Post, any of your online news organizations, whether you go to CNN or Fox, they all still abbreviate the state. So we're going to stick with that. We're going to say "Phi on you," AP style book. So remember, you need punctuation in between the city and the state, and you need to have punctuation after the state, and you need to make sure you know which states get abbreviated. Like the months, it's pretty self-explanatory. Utah is not going to get abbreviated, but the longer states will. There's another error also in this second sentence under state name. See if you can figure that out, and come back to me with the answers. If you have scrolled down to the answers, you see that California needs to be spelled out always when states stand alone. And for Nashville, Tennessee, you got to have a comma between the city and the state. Tennessee gets abbreviated to TENN period, not the postal abbreviation. We wouldn't do capital T, capital N. And then you have to have a comma after Tennessee. Then you'll also notice the Arabic numeral for the age of the person. And you need those hyphens. Got to keep those hyphens in there since it's an adjective describing that person. We're going to skip they, them, there because later in the AP style book list, I'm going to talk about that. So yay. Moving on to titles. This is the last one. So please head to titles. Titles get me every time. When do you capitalize the title? When don't you? Here's the best way to avoid it. If you aren't sure, put the title after the person's name. So if you say, if you aren't sure whether Chairman Bob Smith and Chairman should be capitalized, just put Chairman after. Say Bob Smith, Chairman of, and it's always lowercase when you put the title after a person's name. But if you're going to put the title before, then this is the section where you need to figure it out. The general rule is when it's just an occupation, teacher, farmer, movie star, pharmacist. Those are just occupations, so they never ever get titles. The one that you are going to care about the most, if you keep flipping to closer to the end of the titles, is at the very end of this section. The very next section after titles is tobacco. You'll see academic titles. So look at that. So let's flip all the way to the front of the book for academic titles, since you're probably going to be writing about people who have academic titles. I may never get there. And you will see when you should capitalize and spell out names. Oh shoot. I meant to stay on titles for a second. Sorry. My fault. Very much my fault. Does it show that there? Hang on. Oh, I'm sorry. Under additional guidance. That's the other part you're supposed to look at. So sorry. If you go back to the title section, right at the end where it says additional guidance, it says many commonly used titles and occupational descriptions are listed separately in the book. Now you're probably going to be quoting professors and other people. So go to professor. Let's go to the P section, find professor, and you will see never abbreviate. Lowercase before name. So even if you use that before the name, you're going to put lowercase. So there's my example sentence, and you need to see if you can fix that. All right, if you scroll down to the end where your answers, you see that professor should be lowercase even though it's before the name and always spelled out. Gave you a little bonus there because if you do go back to academic titles, way back up at the beginning of the style book and then go to academic degrees, this section shows you how you type out things like master's degree, bachelor's degree, all that's right there. See if you can fix that sentence as well. All right, there you go. Those are the sections. We've gotten all the way to the point where we're going to start to move into punctuation. So your job is to go through this. If you are confused about any of the sections, let me know. Gosh, I'm so cold right now. This is incredible. It was 950 degrees yesterday. Go through these sections. Let me know if you have any issues with them. I'm expecting you now to apply all of these all the time in everything you write. That includes your observation form that you're turning in. So if you write numbers, if you write Professor so-and-so, that's part of the grade. It's not just what you say, it's how you say it. And so I'm expecting you to type all of these things properly, apply what you know. All right, thanks, bye.